Are good. Everyone, please focus. It's a time for a synchronous session. It's our time today and it's our session today. So, everyone, please pay attention to me because it's very important. Because our lesson today is about how to form a question, how to make a question, how to form a questions in English. So, it's very important. So, please, everyone, focus and pay attention to me. Question formation. Everyone listen carefully and everyone focus with me and pay attention to me. Question formation. What do we need to make a question? If you ask yourself, what do we need to make a question? Here, you have to answer yourself if we want to make a question. If we want to form a question, what will we do? To add an auxiliary verb, if we don't have one, normally do, does, did. To use the existence auxiliary be, have, can, will, etc. What is the usual order for questions? We invert the normal order subject plus verb, so it's auxiliary plus subject means verb. So I'll say again, and everyone ask yourself these important questions. What do we need to make question? Why? You have to ask yourself, what do we need to make a question? To add an auxiliary verb if we don't have one. Normally, do, does, did. So we use do, does in the present simple. We use do with plural pronouns and we use does with the singular pronouns. What about did? We use did in the past simple tense as we studied before. Okay, let's complete. To use the existence auxiliary, be, have, can, will, etc. Be means verb to be. I mean am, is, are. We use am for I. We use is for singular pronouns he, she, it. And we use are for the plural pronouns you, me, you, they, and you. What about can and will? Can and will, these are the modal verbs. What about have? It's verb to have, means have, has, had. We use have for plural pronouns in the present simple, and we use has for the singular pronouns he, she, it in the present simple. What about had? We use had in the past simple with all pronouns, whether singular pronouns or plural pronouns. But can and will, we use them in the modal verbs. So these are the auxiliary verbs which we are talking about, and we will make and form questions using auxiliary verbs and WH questions. What's the usual order for questions? First of all, we invert the normal order subject plus verb, so it's auxiliary plus subject plus verb. So let's complete and let's see. As we said that there are two types of questions. There are types of questions. So here we have two types of questions. First, the question which begins with an auxiliary verb, and we have to answer using just yes or no. First of all, the first type of questions, yes or no questions. These questions, you have to answer this question using yes or no, just yes or no. You can't answer without any answer like this. So, yes or no question, it's the first type of our questions today. Let's complete. So, now please, it's time to listen carefully to this video. This video is very important. Please everyone pay attention to this video and listen carefully because it's very important and it will speak about the question formation. Everyone listen carefully.
Hey, I'm Andy, and I teach English. Today's lesson is on asking around with yes or no questions. Do you see my lamp? Is it on? Did you see my lamp? Was it over there? Excuse me, miss. Have you seen my lamp? Has anyone been in my house? Officer, Will I ever see my lamp again? Will it be found?
Sir, are you looking for this lamp?
To ask a yes or no question with a regular verb, write do, did, have, or will plus a subject plus a verb. For to be, write a form of to be plus the subject. For example, I see your lamp becomes do you see my lamp? And this is my lamp becomes is this your lamp? To answer the question, do you see my lamp? You can say, yes, I see your lamp, or no, I do not see your lamp. To answer, is it on? You can say, yes, your lamp is on, or no, your lamp is not on, it's off. All right, your turn. Make the sentences into questions. Click pause.
So as you can see, these are the questions of the previous sentences. Have, does, will, and where. This is about the yes or no questions. Have you eaten at the restaurant? Does he like peanut butter? Will I be a good mother? Were they sinning? So as you have listened, this is about the yes or no questions. It's the first type of making questions. Have, subject, past participle. This is the present perfect. This is number one. What about number two? Number two is in the present simple. We use here does. You can use do or does in the present simple. But as I told you, do. We use do with the plural pronouns I, you, we, they, but we use does with he, she, it. This means the singular pronouns. As you can see, does he like peanut butter? What about number three? Number three, it's a modal verb. In the future, you can say, will I be a good mother? Will plus subject plus verb to be and the object, a good mother. What about number four? Number four, it's were they sinning? It's a verb to be in the past simple. Where we use were with the plural pronouns. After this subject, after this the verb and using ing. So let's complete. Now, as I told you, this is the auxiliary verb. If you ask yourself what are the auxiliary verbs, or how can we use the auxiliary verbs, or what's the structure of auxiliary verbs, or what's the structure of yes or no questions. First of all, the auxiliary verbs such as verb to be, am, is, are, as I told you, am with I, is with singular pronouns he, she, it, and are with plural pronouns you, we, they. What about verb to do? Verb to do and does and did. Do, does, they are in the present simple. We use do with the plural pronouns and we use does with the singular pronouns. What about did? We use did in the past simple tense. Number three, the third one, it's verb to have. As I told you, have, has, had. Here we have, we use have with the plural pronouns. We use has with the singular pronouns in the present simple, but we use had in the past simple tense. Both the present and the past, they are called verb to have. So have and has in the present simple and had in the past simple. What about modal verbs? Modal verbs means can, could, shall, should, will, would, like this. These are the modal verbs. So let's complete some questions and some answers about the modal verbs and the auxiliary verbs, verb to be, do, have, modal verbs like this. So as you can see, this is a grammar chart. Yes or no questions. If I ask you, or if I ask yourself, if you ask yourself, how can you form yes or no questions? How can you form this? How can you form yes or no question? As you can see, here we have in the first table, am, is, are, yes or no questions. Am, is, are, subject, Noun, verb, ing, preposition, adjective. Like what? If you ask this question, am I a student? You're asking yourself, am I a student? Are you a student? Okay, are we studying? Are they at school? Is, because it's singular, it will take he, she, it, busy. Like this. I'll say again. Am I a student? Are you a student? Or are you studying, like this? Are we studying? Are they at school? Is he busy? Is she busy? Is it busy because it's in the present simple or it's in verb to be? What about the answer? What about the answer if I ask you by using one of these auxiliary verbs am, is, are? So the answer, you have to answer with yes or no. You can't answer without one of this. You have to answer. You must answer with yes or no. Like this, you can say yes, I am. Yes, you are. Yes, we are. Yes, they are, because I is here taken am, and yes, you, we, they taken are because they are plural. What about is? Because it's singular pronoun, it will take yes, he is, yes, she is, yet is, yes, it is. This if you accept the answer, or if you accept about something. What about if you refuse something of, or if you wanted to say no? If you want to say no, you can say no, I am not. No, you are not, or you can say no, you aren't. No, we are not, or no, we aren't. You can say no, they are not, or you can say no, they aren't. And you can say no, he is not, or no, he isn't. No, she is not, or no, she isn't. No, it is not, or no, it isn't. This is about the first table. What about the second table about do, does, and did? Like this, as you can see, this is about yes or no questions also. So if I ask you about do or does, subject and verb. If you want to use do in the present simple about the proper pronouns, you can say, do I study? Now you're asking yourself, do I study? Do you study? Do we study? Do they study? Because they are plural pronouns, you will ask with do in the present simple. But what if you want to ask about the present simple but using does? This means you have to use one of the singular pronouns he, she, it. Like this. Does he study? Does she study? Does it study? So because this is in the present simple. Okay, what about the answer? As I've told you before, if you ask a question using do, does, did, or any auxiliary verb, you must answer with yes or no. No more, no less. You must answer with yes or no. You have to answer with this. Like this. Yes, I do. Yes, you do. Yes, we do. Yes, they do. Because do plural pronouns takes plural pronouns. What about does? As we know, does takes singular pronouns. Like this. It will be yes, he does. Yes, she does. Yes, it does. This if you accept the response or if you accept about the question. What about if you refuse? If you want to say no like this, how can you say no? You will say like this. No, I don't. No, you don't. No, we don't. No, they don't. Why here I use don't? Because don't takes the singular pronouns? No. As we studied that don't takes the plural pronouns. In the present simple it will be I, you, we, they. What about the singular pronouns like he, she, it? As we know that he, she, it are singular pronouns, so they will take doesn't, because doesn't takes the singular pronouns. This is in the present simple as we said. So please read this grammar chart again with yourself and speak very much about this because it's very important to study this well. So let's complete. As you can see in this example, in yes or no questions, the auxiliary verb comes first before the subject. Then we add question mark. I'll say again. In yes or no questions, if you want to ask a question using yes or no, the auxiliary verbs come first. The auxiliary verb or the auxiliary verbs come first before the subject. Then we add question mark. E.g., like this. First one, they are at school. Here I want to ask a question. They are at school. So you can say, are they at school? What about number 2? He will help me. If you're speaking about your brother or a friend, you can say, he will help me. So if I want to ask you a question about him, I'll say, will he help me? Will he help me? This means what? The auxiliary verb. So if I want to answer about these questions, are they at school? Your answer must with yes or no. So if I ask you, are they at school? You have to say yes, they are, or no, they aren't. That's it. No more, no less. What about number 2? Will he help me? You can answer with yes, he will, or no, he won't. You can't answer without this. You can't answer without another answer because yes or no, that's it. Because here we asked you about yes or no. So the answer will be just yes or no. No more, no less. So let's complete. As you can see, ask yourself about this question. Of course, you ask yourself about this. What if we don't have an auxiliary verb in the sentence? You have to ask yourself this question. Before we said that if we have auxiliary verb, you can ask with auxiliary verb as a question word. So now, what if we don't have an auxiliary verb in the sentence? What will we do? In that case, we will use an auxiliary verb according to each tense. In that case, we will use an auxiliary verb according to each tense. As you can see in this timetable, the present simple, we will use do and does, plus subject, plus infinitive verb. Like this, do you speak English? Does Ali speak English? So if I ask you, do you speak English? You can say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. What about number 2? Does Ali speak English? You have to answer with yes or no, like this. Yes, he does, or no, he doesn't. Okay, what about the second tense? The past simple, as you studied before. The past simple, if you want to ask a question using the past simple, you can say did plus subject plus infinitive verb. Like this. Did you go to school yesterday? You can say yes, I did, or no, I didn't. Did Hamad go to school on Friday? You can say yes, he did, or no, he didn't. But of course, he didn't go to school on Friday. But this tense is the past simple tense. What about the third tense? It's the present continuous. As you know that something you are doing in that moment or at doing continuously, like this. The present continuous am, is, are plus subject plus ing. If you want to ask a question using the present continuous, you can say am, is, are plus verb. First of all, plus subject. The verb, it will be in the ing, like this. Is Fahad playing now? You can say yes, he is, or no, he isn't. Number 2, are they watching TV now? You can say yes, they are, or no, they aren't, because this is a present continuous. What about number 4? The fourth tense, the past continuous. The past continuous we use was and were, plus subject plus ing, like this. Was Ali playing tennis yesterday? You can say yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. What about the plural pronouns? The pronouns using were, you can say were they playing chess yesterday? The answer will be yes, they were, or no, they weren't. Because what? Because of the past continuous. What about the present perfect? Of course, you studied present perfect on Unit 2. So now just small revision about it. The present perfect, because we have studied it in Unit 2. So the present perfect has, have, plus subject, plus past participle. The question will be like this. Has Hamza studied English? Because the present perfect, I can say, has Hamza studied English? Has, have, plus subject, plus past participle. So the answer will be yes, he has, or no, he hasn't. What about the plural pronouns? I will use have. You can ask a question like this. Have they made a delicious cake? Have they made a delicious cake? So the answer will be yes, they have, or no, they haven't, because it's the present perfect. And all of these verbs and all of these questions in auxiliary verbs, yes or no questions. So let's complete. As you can see, as the second part of the question follows the rules of affirmative sentences. We don't use do or did to make a question. Like this. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where does he live? So you can say like this. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where does he live? You can say like this and you can say this. If you speak about do auxiliary verb, you can say do you know where he lives? But if you asking using question word, you can use where does he live without saying do you know. That's it. Okay. What about indirect questions? What about indirect questions? If we don't use a question word like what, where, how many, we can use if or whether in indirect questions. Like what? If you can say, do you know if Sarah is coming to the party? Do you know if Sarah is coming to the party? Also, we use if or whether after can you tell me? Do you know? Do you have an idea? Do you mind if? Like this, etc. As you can see in these examples. Do you mind if I borrow your laptop? Can you tell me whether the film is in cinemas yet? So as you can see, these indirect questions. We will say the questions again. Do you know if Sarah is coming to the party? Do you mind if I borrow your laptop? Can you tell me whether the film is in cinemas yet? Like this. So these are indirect questions. What about this? Look at these examples, please. Auxiliary verb, subject verb. As you can see, do you play chess? Does Mike get good marks? Is the cat chasing the mice? Have they forgotten the keys? Will your sister travel to London? So because of this, present simple and auxiliary verb in the present continuous and the present perfect and the future simple. These are the auxiliary verbs using some examples to be clear about this. Read them, please. Read them very well. Let's complete. Now it's time to listen to this video. Please, everyone, listen carefully. It's another video about WH questions. Everyone, listen carefully, please, and pay attention.
The most common question words in English are who, where, when, why, what, which, how. Let's look at the difference. Who. Who is calling? Who will reach the phone first? Who is only used to refer to a person or people. It means I want to know the person. Some examples. Who is the best football player in the world? It means I want to know the person. Who are those people over there? Who is that man behind the mask? Where? Where should I go? Where is used to refer to a place or a location. It means I want to know the place. Where is the library? Where do you live? Where can I buy lunch near here? When? When can I go on vacation? When is used to refer to a time or an occasion. It means I want to know the time. When does the store open? When is your birthday? When are we going to finish? Why? Why are you angry? Why is used to obtain an explanation or a reason. It means I want to know the reason. Why is the window open? Why are they always late? Why do you want to learn English? Normally, the response begins with because. Why is the window open? Because it is hot inside. What? What is making that sound? What is used to refer to specific information about something. It means I want to know the thing. What is your surname? What are you doing? What do you want for dinner? Which? Which dish should I choose? Which is used for a choice. It means I want to know the thing. You choose between the alternatives. Which dish did you order? The pizza or the lasagna? Which day should we go? Monday or Friday? Which is better, this one or that one? How? How do I stop the baby from crying? How is used for a description of something or the way something is done. It means I want to know the way or form. How do you go to school? This means I want to know the way you go to school. How can I learn English quickly? How do you feel today? Here I want a description of how you are right now, or how you feel. How can also be used in other ways. How often refers to frequency. How often do you have classes? This means I want to know the frequency you have classes. How often does she study? See our video about how often and responding these types of questions using adverbs of frequency. How old refers to the age of a person or something. How old are you? How old is the building? How far refers to distance. How far is your house from here? This is like saying, what is the distance from here to your house? How far do we need to go? How many refers to the quantity or number of something. How many is only used with countable nouns. How many people live in your city? How many days are there in July? How much refers to a quantity or a price. How much is used with uncountable nouns. How much time do we need? How much does this shirt cost? Here we use how much because we are referring to how much money, and the word money is an uncountable noun. See our video that has more information about the difference between how much and how many. It's now time to practice. Answer these questions in the...
So it's now time to practice. What's your favorite actor or actress? Where do you live? When is the national day of your country? Why do you want to learn English? What do you do in your free time? What do you prefer, chocolate or pizza? How do you celebrate your birthday? All of these questions are WH questions, as you can see. If you are watching this video, you can answer all of these 7 questions by yourself to make sure that you are understood everything you have listened and everything that you have studied. So let's complete. As you can see, these are some information questions: when, why, and where, how much, where, what, how often, how, and how long, and who. Question word, auxiliary verb like this, as you can see, subject and the verb. This means all of these are the question words. So let's complete. As you can see in this timetable, here we have some question word to ask about something. When, what time, asking about the time refers to the time. Where refers to the place. Why, asking about the reason refers to the reason. Whom and who, asking about the person or the thing. Which, asking about the choice. If you're asking about something and you are confused about something, you can say which food do I like, which food do I order, like this. What about how much, how deep, how far? How much, asking about the price or quantity. How deep, asking about the depth of something, of the well, like this. How far, asking about the distance, as you have listened, as you have studied. So let's complete. What about who and which and what? There are some questions in which we already have a subject, although it's unknown to us. These are the questions in which we use who, what, which as a subject. Who made that mess? You ask yourself in your room like this, who made that mess? Maybe your sister, young brother, like this. What is your favorite color? If you like any color, you can say about this and you can answer what's your favorite color. So which is the best? This or that? In these cases, we don't use do or did. We ask yourself, we answer with information like this. So let's complete. Indirect questions. If I ask you, why didn't they come? What time does it start? When will they arrive? Where are you going? Now you are wondering about something because you don't know, and I can't remember. I want to know. This means you are thinking about something. You are thinking about the information. You are thinking about the answers. So as you can see, why didn't they come? You can say, I wonder why they didn't come. Now you are asking yourself. Like this, what time did it start? You can say, I don't know what time it starts. If you are speaking about the match or the film or the movie, like this. When will they arrive? If I'm asking you about the plane, your family, your brothers, your sisters, like this, they are traveling to in a country, and you can say, I can't remember when they will arrive. Number four, if I ask you, where are you going? You can say, I want to know where you are going, like this. So ask questions for these answers. Here we have 5 answers. Here we want to ask 5 questions. James forgot his umbrella on the bus. Susan is playing tennis with a friend. The storm started yesterday night. Sarah has a karate lessons twice a week. Rachel will travel to Oxford by train. So here we have some questions about this. Check your answers. Number one, where did James forget his umbrella? Number two, what is Susan playing with a friend? When did the storm start? How often does Sarah have a karate lessons? How will Rachel travel to Oxford? As you can see, these are question words in different tenses. So let's complete. Now it's time to practice. Form suitable questions for the following sentences. Number one, Rashid was reading a story yesterday. So in this question here, we want to ask about the story. So we will use what? So the answer will be, what was Rashid reading yesterday? So the answer will be, he was reading a story. Number two, Ahmed will play in the garden tomorrow. So here I want to ask you about the garden, about the place. So we will use where. So it will be, where will Ahmed play tomorrow? Okay, number three, we go to school to learn. Here we want to ask about the reason. Why? Why do you go to the school? Because I want to learn. Number four, no, I don't like science. If I ask you, do you like something like this? You can say yes or no, because this is original question. So you can say, do you like science? You can say, no, I don't like science. And you can say, yes, I like science. What about number five? Yes, I went to the avenues last Friday. You can say, did you go to the avenues last Friday? Because as I told you, this is yes or no question. So it's time to finish. Thank you very much. Thank you very much because you have paying attention for me. Thank you very much. I hope you have a bright future. Thank you very much. See you inshallah next screeners session. Thank you very much. Goodbye.